This is what I reckon is the entrance to the Cheltenham to River Severn Canal. It's a drainage system now, but it makes sense that they'd use it for that. Somebody else has done all the hard work. Then you can see it wending its way through the fields. Cheltenham bound. So this is it as it winds its way up to the road. You can clearly see the line of it there, coming up from the river. It goes through there, which is under the road. And then on up there. On up through the grassy meadow. Don't know what we're going to see up here, there's only one way to find out. See that, hopefully. A quick look at the map. We're starting from the left hand side. We're going to follow the canal all the way up then to Coombe Hill, which gets us to the right hand side of the map. Then we'll cross over, come back on the other side and see what we can find of interest on the way back. Well, pleasant morning for a walk if nothing else. I'm sure we'll find something of interest sooner or later. Hidden in there you can see and hear a sluice. Maybe let water out when you don't want it and in when you do. I'm not sure what the water supply situation was on this canal. Shouldn't have been too bad down here, you'd think. Told you we'd find something. Take off across the meadows. The May is out in abundance. Oh, look at that set against the blue sky. Gorgeous. That's looking back. It's quite a narrow canal, isn't it? Or down to Cost, I guess. That's not helping. Some huge pock marks here from our horsey colleagues. The area there has been grubbed out to give the animals access to the water. I doubt that was part of the original canal plan. I suspect that's a later addition. You can see how marvellously level this is here because it's still got water in it. There's water all the way down. So it's amazing how they kept the levels just right. No need for locks and things. I don't think we're going to get away from noisy helicopters and the like today. This then has to be the towpath. Of course there should be no boundaries on this path because the canal just kept on going. Looking at the lumps of grass here on this fallen tree, you can see how high the water does get when it's in flood. There is a field boundary on that side. So see, there's a picture there somewhere. That's looking back, and that's looking forward. Arrow straight at this point. I suppose the secret to keeping water in it is to pick the right route to start with. They obviously did that. This has been so arrow straight up till now that that slight kink is worthy of note. Dealing with something in the terrain perhaps. There's a gully there leads off the canal, and I think at the end of the gully looks to be a large pond. So it was probably used as a reservoir, I would guess. There are extensive water supplies on both sides here. I guess that kept them going, or was designed to keep the supply going while they were locking in and out. There's almost a second canal on that side. That's on our right. At this point now you can see that in relation to the surrounding land, the canal is quite shallow. Although it's higher this side, we're obviously standing on the spoil, working with the terrain again. A mile or so in now and we've got that. That's curious because that's obviously not high enough to get a boat underneath. Obviously it was done then after the canal had closed. Very substantial. I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable about this. We'll see. Well, this isn't helping, but there's a ditch off there. Official or not, who knows? Evidently not fast flowing. Actually not flowing at all, I don't think. In actual fact, it's dammed up by the fallen tree. Looking back doesn't clarify the situation. It's just a jumbled mess of fallen trees. Onward then. We've had some intrepid cyclists along here. Can't say it would appeal to me. It's a bit rough, but each to their own. Okay, point of interest. Water on that side and a tunnel, bridge, whatever, connecting to our canal on that side, plus another pond over there, which looks like another feeder. Leads on up there. Not sure if that's a stream or just a ditch. Those old posts have a kind of original look about them, don't you think? Especially that one. I guess you could mistake that for a basin of some sort. It's big enough. A gentle curve to the left at this point, and on we go. Still being shadowed by this water course on the right hand side. If that were dug out by hand, that's a hell of an investment. A great long straight here. I suspect the surveyor was quite pleased to find that. Weather's holding out. One or two tiny clouds on the horizon, that's it. You have to wonder if this canal hasn't changed sides, but there's been no evidence of a change. So that's the canal on the left, looking more like a ditch, whereas that's a ditch on the right, looking more like a canal. Go figure. Suspicious, isn't it? There's what looks like a drainage ditch facility on that side. Heading up there. Over there is our mysterious ditch. There's a map board here. This might help us sort it out. Right, so the canal is behind us then. That needs some investigation. Welcome to your canal, which is not what we've been following for the last mile and a half. Well, we have, but we haven't been filming it. I reckon the ditch is more photogenic, mind you. In fact, the canal is completely hidden behind that impenetrable hedge. This whole thing went wrong at the road, where the ditch, as we now know it, is the only thing that goes underneath the road. That needs a bit more investigation, I think. And what we're now going to call the ditch looks more like a canal, and then so does the canal. None but the brave, I think. I'm going to count myself in that. And that's the nature reserve. According to the warden I've just been talking to, this area here we would be underwater at this point in the winter. As you can see, marvellous for water birds out here. And now at risk to life and limb, a view up the canal. Down the canal not quite so impressive. Canal getting serious at this point. Well, at least the old ditch is still visible. which is more than you can say for the canal. It's hidden through there somewhere. Okay, covered off that stretch then. On to the end. Hopefully not too far. If you look very closely you can see the canal through there. Very closely. Well, this went wrong then at the main road, because at the main road the ditch goes underneath the road, whereas there's no sign of a canal lock or bridge or whatever. I don't think. We're going to have to check that out when we go back. But on the basis that that lines up also with the cut from the Severn itself, that looked to be the canal, but in actual fact it's not, it's a ditch. A rather fancy name, and the canal's been with us all along. I don't think, mind you, there's much to be seen on the canal down that part, so we've probably chose the right option with something to look at. My excuse, I'm sticking with that. And excitement mounts, we cross the canal. There you have it. Reaching its terminus at this point. This is where they ran out of cash because they needed the big money to get through the next hill. Either had to dig it out or put a tunnel through, and that's where the project stopped, run out of loot. Just for continuity, that's looking back down the canal. Yeah, not much to see down there. We'll now follow up this side of the canal and say goodbye to our ditch. Now that looks like a canal, probably because it is. Push off pigeon. Ah, a few fish in there. Exceptionally clear water. That must be stream fed, I guess. So where are all the kingfishers then? Twitchers about, but no kingfishers. It's not fair. Right, I think we're coming to the end now. It looked for a while as if the canal swung round to the left and went on a little way farther, but in actual fact that is the end. In fact the canal widens out here, I think in anticipation of a tunnel, so you could moor up and wait your turn. And that turn never came, unfortunately. Perhaps they used to use it as far as here and then unload and walk the rest of the way to Cheltenham. That's probably it, I would think. Horse and cart from here on. He didn't care. Done. Well, here we are at the head, looking down. The wall there actually formed a wharf, so they could get their coal this far to Cheltenham, halfway I guess. And offloaded onto the donkey cart. On that wall there, you've got to guess? Okay, we're now traipsed back that way. 2.5 miles apparently. The River Severn to Cheltenham Canal then. It was begun to get coal to Cheltenham, to the merchants there. It of course ran out of money, as these things do, when it reached Coombe Hill, and there was a big investment needed there for that bit of work. So it's stored there, but they did actually use the canal. They used to ferry the coal as far as Coombe Hill, and then it was offloaded and went by horse and cart. Must have reduced the cost somewhat. But nice canal, late 1800s. See what we see. Well, an opportunity here. What do you think? Not that much farther, is it? Actually, it's alright for you. Let's give it a go. Snipe pool. It's a mite blowy. Kind of the middle of nowhere here. Cloudless blue still. I turn the corner here. This next bit doesn't count because we had to walk in this direction anyway. Nice big meadow. Ah, looking hopeful then. Another thumping great meadow. That's a treat, isn't it? Holding the war gang. Well, guess what? Another meadow. Over there I spy a bridge, so we must be somewhere near the Hyde by now. Day or two since that's been used. In fact, it's not a bridge, it is actually the Hyde. Take a look. Sorry about this, folks. It's middle of the day, so you're not going to see very much. You need to be here either first thing in the morning or quite late in the afternoon, early evening. We'll get on with it. There appears to be a path of sorts going diagonal up there. Or straight ahead from here, so see where that gets us. I took a chance and took a detour into this corner. Unfortunately, there's no bridge, can't get through. So, got to go back up here, which is the official route. I'll never learn. The official route contains a bridge, which is useful. Next bridge, over there. We've passed this before on the outward journey. Over our now infamous ditch. Start the walk home to here, which is nearly back to the road. This is where it all went pear-shaped. So ditch on the right, and the canal is just about visible, still on the left. And at risk to life and limb, I've come down to the canal level, which tells us precisely nothing. It just disappears into the undergrowth, but I've got the alignment, which means that then is the canal bridge. And there is some water over there. I was looking back up the canal. There's some sort of ramp there, look. Could have been to tow the horses, the barges through. Suggests that the line of the canal then is over there, hidden. Where the confusion arises then is that the ditch is visible coming up there from the Severn, whereas the canal there isn't visible. Not yet anyway. Still keeping the canal on the left. That's a better view of it, kind of. Severn to Cheltenham Canal. Go on, I can't resist the occasional pretty shots. Looking down that way, look, large pieces of dressed stone. So something to do with the canal here. We're quite near the river, but I don't think it's a lock. And taking a peek upstream, yes, it is a lock. You could just make out a curved stone there where the gates would have hinged. A one and only lock. Brickwork here from the lock chamber. A little farther down, large coping stones. Could be some sort of dock. That's looking towards Cheltenham. That's about all we can see towards the Severn, which is just of there. So this is where the canal meets the Severn. There are no signs of any structures here of any sort. But this way, look, we can actually walk up the canal bed a little way. Well, journey's end for us, and the sunlight's making a mockery of the exposure on my poor little camera. There's the side of the lock. There's that, a noisy helicopter, and that could be a sluice. Showing its construction. And the large coping stones actually lead into the lock chamber, denoted by that wall. Again, getting fooled by my poor camera. That's it, folks. We're out of here.